Hi everyone, and welcome to Thrive, the show where we bring you tips, resources, and people to help you create a more abundant life and business. I'm your host, Heather Poduska, and I am so excited today. I have a very special guest with me. Andy Grant is a best-selling author, award-winning speaker, a transformational energy coach, and a suicide prevention activist. Andy is committed to helping people in emotional pain realize how magnificent life can be. He's also an expert in online video and social media, and he's worked with some of the world's largest tech companies for over 14 years. He's done sites from scratch for companies launching successful IPOs and attracting global audiences. And finally, Andy hosts his own radio show called Ask the Records with Andy Grant. So I'm so thrilled to have him here. Welcome, Andy. Thanks for coming.
My pleasure.
So as I was talking about all the things that you do and the entrepreneurship and the energy healing and the suicide prevention activist, I thought, where do you get the time to do all of these things? So I really wanted to ask you, do you compartmentalize? How do you compartmentalize? How do you balance all of the things that you're involved in that are really great?
Great. Well, I used to compartmentalize. Now I let everything flow together, and that works better for me. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the suicide prevention activist, I began telling my personal story of overcoming years of depression and suicide attempts in my teens and 20s, and that used to be a separate talk. I would just do things about that. Mm-hmm. But all the energy tools, all the healing work I did for myself, things I learned to literally save my life, are what brought me into coaching. So the worlds all blur together. Every time I'm teaching, every time I'm speaking, it's all the same thing. I learned to just be me in all of these areas. So it's easy to be me 24 hours a day, right? There is no compartmentalization anymore, but I do certainly block my time and focus on different tasks, different projects at a time.
Yeah. Well, it's a really interesting thing that you're saying, because a lot of people do compartmentalize their lives. And I was actually just listening to something about you have your online personality, your public personality, and then you have your personality in your private life with your friends and family. And while that's certainly true to some extent, I think that sometimes people really do compartmentalize those things, and you get sort of an artificial veneer to that public life. And it sounds like what you're saying is that it's all integrated, and tell me what that does for you when you have that integration in your life and you're not compartmentalizing so much.
Yeah, well, years ago, when I first decided to take my personal story public, I decided that I was going to live as openly and authentically as I could. That meant not hiding behind pictures online that weren't me, or nicknames or things like that. So all my websites just became my name, and I started writing my own story in my book and sharing more of myself. And that was done. I realized I was healing me by being open, and then I got response from all over the world about people reacting to that and giving them permission as well too. Yeah. But it's true for entrepreneurs. Like, when you're your business, you can't be fake about it. Right. Or you can, but I think you have easier flowing success when you're truly yourself.
Right. Well, I mean, that's personal branding. I mean, that's the work that I do with people, is to really help them bring all those pieces together and take ownership again of all of the pieces that they want to have public, so that they don't feel like they have to compartmentalize.
But do you find, is it easier to work with someone who's willing to let all of them be seen versus someone, no, I just want you showing these 3 aspects of me, keep this stuff secret?
Yeah, I would say that most people are willing, but some, I don't know, I'll ask you this question. How much do you think, what level of privacy do you think people shouldn't have? I'm asking that question because there's sort of a trend right now online in our industry to tell everything. And for some people, it sounds like for you that was a very healing experience, and other people are like, wait a minute, there's a professional line and there's a personal line. So tell me what your thoughts are about that.
Yeah, I mean, privacy is a very personal thing, but I find the more personal you make yourself, open and available, whatever your business is, it helps. Yeah. Yeah, so you're not just selling stuff, you're not just in some industry, you're adding value to it by being you, right? It's that communication, it's that connection, that authenticity that can add so much more to, if you're delivering pizzas or working one-on-one as a coach and a healer for somebody, right? When you bring more of you, you're willing to show what's going on for you, share your ups, your downs, your insights, your ahas. Instead of teaching and guiding someone from what you read in a book, it's from what you've lived and experienced. you know, I find that adds value to whatever someone is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if someone has had a journey like your journey, and I just had this conversation with someone else who'd been through something traumatic, and telling that story allows other people to heal, right? So you became an energy healer. What was there a pivotal point for you when you were struggling that you realized that this was something that was going to help you? How did you know that that was the thing, or how did you discover that that was the thing that was going to help you make this transition into healing?
Yeah, it really goes back to the book The Secret, which you know, became a big worldwide sensation, then had this big backlash against it. But for years, I was raised to believe that there was something wrong with me. My chemistry was off. I was at the mercy of my thoughts and emotions, and I always would be. I could take pills to kind of try to control it or minimize it, but there was always this thing wrong with me. And when I finally read The Secret, it said that I could control my thoughts. I could choose my thoughts, and that would change my experience of life. Now that was completely radical, and I'm like, what? And I kept just reading, how can that be? And I decided, and I tested it, I lived it. I focused on what I was thinking about, and I would choose thoughts that felt better. And I realized, like, the suicide, the depression stuff felt so gross because it was so not what I wanted, but it was what I was used to thinking. And I realized that I can control my thoughts, thereby those change my emotions and my actions and my experience of life. So I went further into this. I began to meditate. I went into the whole New Age world and discovered Wayne Dyer and Louise Hay and all these people I'd never heard of at all before as just a troubled teen. And I was on an internet webinar once, and this man, David Morelli, was leading this meditation. And it wasn't unlike meditation I'd ever been on. It wasn't like, go to your happy place and, just drift away. He was walking us through steps and having us energy brought into us and having cords come out of our feet and connect to the earth. And I felt stuff in me.
Wow.
And I literally felt energy and light coming out of my hands. I was like, what is this? So I loved it. I didn't know what it was. And so I went into a year-long program, learned how to read energy. And it started by clearing our cells. So I did all this literally to save my life. And I discovered that I had always been reading energy. I was very open and empathic. And when I thought I was depressed, I was sometimes feeling the sadness of other people around me. So once I learned to distinguish that, I realized there's nothing wrong with me, actually. And actually, I'm quite skilled in reading energy. And now I have the tools to it. So I was more than halfway through this program, truly to just better myself, I decided, wow, I'm going to become a coach. This work is phenomenal. And so that was 2010, and I hung up my coaching shingle at that point online and just dove right in. And I've been helping people, and normally I attract a lot of people that have depression or suicide in their background because I don't hide my story at all. But yeah, anyone in emotional pain, just help people realize that life's meant to feel good. Yeah,
definitely. I'm a big proponent of that as well, and that you choose your happiness.
Yeah.
You choose your happiness. And you mentioned your book, so you have your book here. Can you just hold it up maybe so people can see? And it's still here.
Yeah, still here. How to Succeed at Life After Failing at Suicide.
Yeah, that's a great title. And I read parts of the book, not the whole book, but parts of it. But one of the things right at the beginning that really struck me was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but people who are contemplating suicide don't really want that.
Oh, right.
And they don't, and they're struggling, and what I understood is that what you were saying, that's part of the struggle, is that they're having these painful thoughts and feelings, and they want to get rid of those, and they're thinking about suicide, but they don't really want that, so that creates its own tension.
Right.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, that's based on my experience and what I found in talking to others, but when you don't feel good, and you're drawn to the negative and you're thinking on how bad you feel, that just keeps that going, right? What we focus on grows. We put our awareness on, we notice that more and more. So, but also we want to take action. So I felt this distorted sense of relief after my suicide attempts because, well, at least I did something. Not good, so I encourage people to take positive action, do better in things, but that's the trap. It's this horrible, gross way to live until you realize that you have a choice, right? Because I was taught, and my parents were watching me like a hawk, looking for signs of depression, looking for signs, because it runs in my family, there was alcoholism. I had 2 generations before me that did die by suicide. My grandfather and my great-grandmother both died by suicide.
Wow.
So there was a lot of time in my life that I thought it was my destiny. Like I just was kind of cursed, and there was nothing else I could do.
Wow.
But once I chose to focus on other aspects, to realize that I felt good doing other things, that shifted everything.
So let me ask you, because I have kids that are teenagers that are coming up to that age. As a parent, you know, that's your worst nightmare, to think about that happening to your child. And you said that your parents were watching you. Knowing what you know now, what would you tell parents who are concerned about their kids?
Well, the thoughts are okay. Like most people think about it at some point. And it's even I should just kill myself today. Oh, I just wish I was dead. And some people are very cavalier about it, and others really believe it or think they believe it. But you know, it's just a thought. A thought can be changed, but it's okay to talk about it. And in fact, a lot of people were afraid that the only place I met other suicidal kids was in a mental hospital, which made it seem even just crazier, and we were just so rare, and there was really something wrong with us. So it's okay to talk about it. In fact, I found that talking about it releases it. You know, any problem in our life, if we just think about it in ourselves, we just ruminate over and over, that makes it worse.
So would it be good for a parent to try to have those conversations with their teenager and sort of help them express those feelings? And
let them know that it's safe to share that. And if someone's really bad, just, well, let's get help, you know. The time that it takes, when it's thinking about it and talking about that's great, but if you ask, well, are you making plans? Do you have a way? That's another escalation, right? So that's something to be wary of. But thinking and wishing and just a bad day, I don't know what to do, you know, that's pretty common. But if they have a plan, you know, make it safe that they can trust you. You know, don't yell at them, don't berate someone because they're thinking, you know, these thoughts or feeling bad about themselves. But make it just a safe place to have conversations. Yeah,
that's great advice. So you took this energy work and turned it into a career path. And I know that this is not your first career path, and we talked about in the intro about your experience in technology, and I also read in your book that you were a millionaire by the time you were 30.
Right.
And then what happened?
Then what happened?
What happened?
Yeah. Then what happened?
Why aren't you running for president with Donald Trump?
Yeah, because it didn't last. My energy. So I was also at age 20. I was on welfare and food stamps.
Wow.
So I've been at both spectrums.
Yeah.
And I worried more about money when I was a millionaire than when I had nothing.
Wow.
And so it was all. You know, I was part of 2 companies that went public. I was the 60th employee at a company that was acquired by Cisco Systems. So I had the whole .com boom and the .com bust. But at one point I was like, 2.2 million was my highest net value, like on paper, but I didn't feel worthy of it. So I let it stay on paper until it was hundreds of thousands. Then I could allow myself to receive hundreds of thousands. I couldn't allow myself to receive millions.
Wow.
So and it was about energy. Right? It was my own value and worth. I'm like, well, I didn't do anything. I'm just a web guy. Oh, I'm not worthy of all this money, right? And so I let it drift away until it reached a level that my personal energy, my own sense of worth, was more in alignment with.
Now, is that something that you work on people to heal?
Oh yeah, because everyone has that set point.
I was going to say,
I don't
want
teach
to
people
shift mine.
So it's all down to energy. Like. We all have a comfort level. You can choose your happiness, and you also choose your comfort level with money. Like everyone has a number that they, or even to get a compliment, you can't accept you deflect, and people deflect energy, people deflect money, and there's amounts that you can receive. But you know, if you're the kind of person that says, if something costs $20, oh, that's ridiculous, that's expensive. Like, wow, you're really limiting, right? So, or if you see someone driving a Lamborghini, a lot of people are, what a jerk. Right? Do you condemn wealth or do you welcome it? Right? So those are all signs about your personal attitude, but even deeper than your attitude is your energy.
So can you just say, I don't know if you can, but what is this energy? Where does it come from? What is it? I mean, besides just like plugging into a cord, you know, or is it God? What is this energy? What is this energy that we speak of?
The energy I speak of comes from all that is. It's the universe. So scientists even tell us the universe is constantly expanding, right? And it's expanding at a faster and faster rate since the Big Bang. Now, since it's expanding faster and faster, that's the part that doesn't make sense to scientists. But it's all just energy. We literally are stardust. We are the same contents created in the initial Big Bang. So when people talk about, you know, connection to source or God or the universe, to me it's energy. So it's our source. And we can tap in and you can feel alignment when you feel good, when you're in the flow, when you're in the zone, all these different terms are when you're aligned with energy. And then there's an unlimited supply. It's not like we run out, right? And it's not like, sometimes it can be from food and that sort of fuel, but it's more your intention. You're deciding to be open and receive more. Gratitude is a tremendous mechanism to raise more energy, right? But we can be grounded, just like electricity. You want to be grounded. If you're scattered in thought and kind of all over the place, that's all of your energies in your head. And you can invite more of that energy to be in your body and be grounded and get more productive, get things done. But everyone's personal energy is a little different. But when I speak of it, yeah, it's literally everything.
Yeah.
But you can walk into a room and tell that there's been a fight. Right?
Yeah.
The energy's different. There's a tension. So
yeah.
that's energy. Everyone's reading energy all the time. They're just not calling it that or noticing it. You can walk up to a cocktail party and people are all laughing. You haven't heard the joke yet, but you'll get in the crowd. Oh, hey, you join right in. So energy is contagious as well. And what I didn't realize when I was younger was I was sponging up, absorbing all this energy and believing everything I felt was mine, but it was not.
So, have you, I'm sure you have, what are they called, Indigo children? Do you think you were an Indigo child?
No. Everything I do is, I've learned how to process things which anyone can learn. I do believe that each generation is more advanced, even as children. Like a baby, it can't communicate as much, but can feel and can control the room. And when a baby smile can light up a room, or a baby's crying can make a whole plane miserable, right? So
I know my baby's made the whole plane miserable.
So again, energy is contagious.
Yeah.
And how many kids' invisible friends are really them playing with energy and feeling something and getting intuition. A lot of people talk about intuition and gut hunches and feelings and my little voice told me this or my conscience told me that. All different words and expressions for just energy.
Cool. So I have another question for you. Do you find it more challenging, different, being a man, working in your field, with feelings, talking about energy, and I think there's a stereotype that's more something that women are more comfortable talking. Do you think it's an advantage that you are a man, or do you think it's a disadvantage? How does that play? Does it play in at all?
It probably plays, but I just know my experience. So I get it, how to worse. It's different when I go to events. When I was in training, it was primarily women. Most of my clients are women. There's some brave guys willing to test it and feel it more and more, but. The more authentic I am, the more brightly colored I dress.
Well, then you match the logo. I really appreciate that.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But being willing to not be a stereotypical guy.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that I heard for so many years and in so many different careers was, Andy, I was really scared of you when I first saw you or met you, but you're really a sweetheart.
Oh,
right?
that's nice.
But when I was young, being a nice guy didn't feel masculine. Felt like I was a loser and a wimp, and nice guys finish last, so it didn't want to be nice. So there's a big difference. But as I was willing to step into myself and be the teddy bear, be nice, be vulnerable.
Okay, so you're nice and vulnerable and teddy bear, but I also know for a fact that you have a collection of hard rock acid t-shirts.
Oh yeah, my nickname in college was Metal. Yeah, that's one way I dealt with life and the aggression, the music, and.
Are you still a big fan?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what is your favorite? Do you have a favorite T-shirt?
Favorite T-shirt?
Well, that's what I was saying. Wow. You have the T-shirt collection, right?
Yeah. Well, one I have in 1977. It's my first Kiss shirt. So it's like this big, all shrunken. But yeah, Kiss was the first time I got into music that wasn't my parents' music. It was Kiss, so.
I have to tell you, my first, probably my only rock album that I've ever owned was the Peter Criss solo album. It wasn't even the whole Kiss. It was the Peter Criss solo album.
Yeah, and that was the one for girls. Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, there you go. So how many do you think you have in your collection?
Oh, I recently, I counted them all about 6 months ago, and it was just over 1,000.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. And all my friends were jealous because they all threw them away over the years. I'm like, no, but I had storage trunks, and I recently had an auction. I decided.
I was going to say, if the coaching doesn't work out, you can always sell those off.
Yeah. I've always been a big collector.
Yeah.
I still have lots of stuff.
But I love that. I love that dichotomy of having this, sort of edgy appreciation of the music and having something that that got you through, right? That helped you express certain things, and then shifting into this other really deep, meaningful work and giving access, I would assume, to other men who don't feel comfortable in their environment, maybe opening up and being an example for them. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really feel called to. I want one of my first workshops I ever made. It was called "Loving Yourself for Men," and the little subtitle was like, "No, this is not about masturbation." And I had 3 brave strangers show up, and we talked about what it's like to love yourself and to love others and express yourself as a man. And my own resistance to that, I had this amazing toxic reaction to poison ivy. My whole face was swollen up. My eyes were swollen shut. My wife had to drive me to the class. And all these guys, I'm going to go on. I look weird, but we're going to do this. This is just, I had energy workers look at this. This was my resistance. This was my, who am I to teach about love? So my body all, so look, you can't love yourself. Let's see you do it now, buddy.
Yeah.
They said, as I spoke over the course of 2.5 hours, all my swelling was going down.
That's nice.
Next day, it was all normal.
That's awesome.
But that's the power of energy work, and it can work against us and for us if
Yeah,
we're not aware of it.
Yeah, and I think that what you're saying also is that your body is such an important part of it. It's the energy, I assume, from the universe, but it also, how it affects you physically is a really important part of the work as well.
Certainly. Yeah, any pain, any disease in the body, it began as energy first, right? It's a festering thought. It's a vow you made somewhere. They never addressed, and it shows up as a physical symptom eventually.
Interesting. So you said that your wife had to drive you to the clinic, and you work with your wife.
Yeah, sometimes we teach together. I got into this work to save my life, to change things. She saw the changes that I was going through, and she's like, this is amazing. So she's done energy work as well. We've done some programs together. We've taken some trainings differently. And people that meet us or work with one of us, then the other, they really, they think we're like the energetic super couple. And it's funny. Do
you do ever relationship things together? Training?
Yeah, we did a workshop called Master Your Personal Power, which is all about relationships. And because, you give your energy away to someone, and you think it's helpful and good of a relationship, but you're really, everyone's better off with all of themselves together. So it's really about how to be in your personal power, how to have boundaries, but have open and loving boundaries.
Yeah.
To feel connected to people you choose to, as opposed to obligation.
Yeah.
Right, that difference.
Yeah, that's great. I'm trying to think. I did an exercise once where it was having your energy bubble, and that women tend to either have very small energy bubbles, or it's too big and they don't let people in. It was really interesting.
Right. Yeah. Ideally, some people think they're just this soft, squishy. They're like a doormat. Everyone can follow them. They have no boundaries. And other people like rock rigid, and no one's getting near me. And neither of those are ideal. You want to consciously choosing. So you can let the people you love be soft and let them in. And for a stranger, maybe you have a little firmer. Then you decide who they are and what they're doing. And it's not being on autopilot. It's you having conscious awareness of your own energy, of who you want, how you want to feel, and who you want to feel with.
Yeah. So that was an exercise I did. I wanted to ask you if there is something that an exercise that you could give our audience to help them maybe experience, be aware of energy, or to use the energy that maybe for people who this is new for them, or they don't understand it, some way that they can start to feel that.
Yeah. Let's see. One of the easiest things is to, especially when you feel scattered and you're just waking up, you feel like you get too many things, you like how I act here. This is how you feel. You're all over the place. And just take a couple deep breaths and shut your eyes and allow yourself to focus on the center of your head. Imagine there's a single point of light that has the power to pull your focus from wherever it is. Not pulling your problems, not what you're worrying about, just you let it go. And you just call your energy back to the center of your head. And you can feel almost the pressure. You can feel more energy gather in your head. And then just ask, allow, half that energy, allow it to flow down into my body. And if you're quiet, if you're patient, if you breathe, you'll notice, you'll become aware of energy moving through your body. Right?
That's really cool. And that's something that anybody can do.
Oh yeah.
Just sit in there.
Basically. And even just rub your hands together, heat that up. That's energy.
Yeah.
A lot of healing, a lot of the prayer position, warming up the hands.
Yeah.
You've now energized your hands. So one simple healing, this is from Donna Eden. Rub your hands together. Any pain you have, just do a figure 8, the infinity sign, over any sort of painful joint you have.
Oh, I was at the gym this morning, so I'm going to...
Yeah, just draw a little figure 8 and just send healing energy, nothing to think about, and just do that.
Sure.
But again, you want to experience energy, look, you just made heat. Where does heat come from?
Yeah.
Right? It's your energy.
That's so cool. So now you've combined your energy work, all of your business savvy, and you're working with entrepreneurs. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So tell me what you do with entrepreneurs. And I know that you have an upcoming event, and I love the name of it. You're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, it's a tough one to say sometimes.
You tell us what it is.
It's the ultimate energetic entrepreneur palooza.
Awesome, Entrepreneur Palooza.
Right.
Energetic Entrepreneur Palooza. That's awesome. So tell me about the event and tell me what kinds of things you work with entrepreneurs.
Right. Well, the event is 2.5 days. It's October 9th, 10th, and 11th in Andover, Massachusetts. It's at the Rolling Ridge Retreat Center, which is this nice old mansion being restored.
Okay.
But it's geared toward business people, entrepreneurs, or those who wish to become entrepreneurs. And there's going to be some hard business skills. We're going to do some math, which scares a lot of people. And we're going to do some of that work because we want to see what comes up.
Well,
we're going to do energy work to clear, that feeling.
I was going to say, what you would see come up with me is vomit.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. Then we do the energy work. Then we go into meditation and we look at what is that? What's causing that?
Yeah.
Right? Break down that. So we've got 8 speakers. I've got speakers coming from Australia and the UK.
Wow.
There's someone that's doing EFT. We've got a shaman coming. We have a neuroscientist. We've been calling them the Avengers of Personal Growth.
Cool.
There's this varied team.
Wow.
But it's to do the inner work to allow the outer work of your business to flow even easier.
So I'm thinking about your example of your wealth set point that you talked about before, of going from 2.2 million to okay, now I can have a couple 100,000. So that might be an example of a result that would happen as that kind of work.
So I've worked with some business people that, they want more, they're not sure what to do, so I read their energy. And the energy shows up, and they talk about different clients, different aspects, and some aspect of the business has more energy. I truly see more light around that. And I'll ask, well, what about that? And then they'll talk more about that, and it gets brighter, and they realize, oh, that's what I want to do, right? It's tapping into everyone's passion. One thing I is a core of my teaching, but what you love to do demands to be done. Right?
I love that.
Yeah, your success wants to meet you.
That's a tweetable. That's awesome.
Yeah, what you love to do demands to be done.
Yeah, that's great. So what's if people wanted to sign up for that, what would be the URL for them to?
Yep, so my site is Navitas Coach, that's Navitas, which is Latin for energy.
Okay.
So navitascoach.com/UEE.
UEE, which is, what was the?
Ultimate Energetic Entrepreneur Palooza.
Ultimate Energetic Entrepreneur Palooza.
And you can join us live at the event, but we also even announced a live stream option.
Oh, cool.
So it's Columbus Day weekend. If you want to watch from home, wherever you are in the world, it's only $147. Which is less than the cost to work with any of the 8 speakers for an hour on their own. So it's unbelievably, it's just a tremendous value. And you have replay access for 2 weeks.
So let me ask you this question. If you're watching the live stream, can you still get the energy?
Oh yeah, because it's energy.
Okay.
It's like,
it goes through the screen.
Wi-Fi is everywhere, right? You can call it, your voice travels from the phone. How is that possible, right? So yeah.
I'm naive, I'm sorry.
All the work I do with clients, it's all one-on-one over the phone.
I see.
But the group brings it it's more focused, it's even more powerful.
So you'd still get the same benefit if you were live streaming.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
cool.
there's a live chat room, you'll be able to ask questions, so
Okay,
you're not going to be just lost at home.
Okay, one more time. Give the URL one more time.
Navitascoach.com/UEE.
Okay.
Navitas coach.com/UEE.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here, Andy. I have learned so much, and it's not every day that someone who has your breadth of experience, been through what you've been through, and is giving back in the way that you're giving back, walks through our doors. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
It's my honor. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and thank you for being here as well. Until next time, here's to hitting all your high notes. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.